Hi, I'm Jan with Academic Technologies. For educators who would like to provide additional content outside of their classroom, audio recordings can be a strong resource. Educators can use audio in a wide variety of ways, including recording their lectures, adding audio instructions to pair with video, or even creating pure audio assignments to help students refine their listening skills. In this video, we'll walk through the basics of how you can use Audacity, a free software that produces audio recordings in an intuitive way. By the end of the video, you should be able to create, edit, and publish audio recordings of any length for your educational use. If you have any questions while watching this video, you can reach out to CNU's academic tech team at jana.doherty@cnu.edu. As I mentioned, Audacity is a free software package to download on any computer, and it's compatible with both Mac and PC computers. You can download the most recent version of Audacity by opening a web browser and going to www.audacityteam.org. You can then click on the link that says Download Audacity to locate your package. You'll have options for Windows and Mac, as well as Linux if you run that operating system. We're running Windows here. And then you select your installer to begin downloading the program. Once the package is fully downloaded, you can then engage in the installation process. Once Audacity is installed, you should see an icon on your desktop that looks like a pair of headphones fitted onto an audio wave. This is the icon for Audacity, and double-clicking it will open the program, which we already have open here. So let's expand this window. And get to work. The first thing an Audacity user should check when preparing to create an audio recording is the set of drop-down menus here at the top of the window. These menus show a program's input, where the recorded audio is being recorded from, and the output, where a recording will play from if you play it in Audacity. It's important to make sure that you have a microphone connected to your computer that you can use for the input in order to get clear recordings. Many laptops have built-in microphones, but you can also borrow microphones from the library's media center or pick one up at an electronics store if you're not happy with the quality of your laptop mic. To select the microphone, open the second drop-down menu to the left and locate the microphone that you would like to use. The drop-down is marked with this microphone icon. The fourth drop-down is marked with a speaker icon, which indicates that opening it will let you pick the speaker your audio will play through during the editing process. Once you have selected your input and your output, you can start using these tools to record your audio. You may have noticed the set of buttons in the top left using common symbols such as pause, play, stop, rewind, and fast forward. The last button in this list is the record button. You can press this button when you are ready to begin recording, which we'll do as a sample right now. She sells seashells by the seashore. And then press the stop button when you are ready to stop recording. As you can see, anything recorded in Audacity will show in your main workspace as a waveform, which can then be played back using the other buttons. For example, let's play back what we just recorded so that we can hear it. She sells seashells by the seashore. And then press the stop button when you are ready to stop recording. Waveforms in Audacity are placed in audio tracks. Waveforms can also be layered on top of each other in multiple tracks. For example, if you need two types of audio to be playing at once. Let's record a second track with me humming in the background of my speech. I'll press record. She sells seashells by the seashore. And then press the stop button. As you can see, it created a separate track for that waveform. If I play this audio project, it'll play both tracks simultaneously. She sells seashells by the seashore. And then press the stop. However, you can also move audio on a track by using a button known as the time shift tool, which is shown here. If I click on the time shift tool, I'll have the ability to move audio within a track, so I can layer them how I like based on timing, just by clicking and dragging. Using this tool, I can also move audio between tracks if I want to place clips of audio on the same audio track. One thing to note is that this does remove your ability to layer these waveforms. Audio clips on the same audio track can only play sequentially. You can also adjust the volume of your audio track by using the envelope tool, labeled here. The envelope tool essentially envelops your audio in a space where the volume can be adjusted at multiple points, shown with these two blue lines. When you click on either line, it creates a point where that line can be moved inwards to lower the volume or outwards to raise it. If you click on the blue line at multiple points, it creates a space where you can customize this adjustment by breaking up the line, so to speak. You can see those points marked with little white dots, like here. But say, for example, I only wanted to lower the volume later on in the track, so I could have the volume kind of gradually lower throughout the track. I have my first point here, so if I click on the second point, I can drag that audio into a customized volume level. The envelope tool and the time shift tool both alter your mouse to edit the audio. The default tool for your mouse, however, is the select tool, which is marked here. Using the select tool, you can click and drag to highlight part or all of a track. I'm going to highlight this part here with some quiet. This ability can then be used in conjunction with the cut, copy, and paste tools over on the far side. The cut tool will cut out the part of the track that's highlighted, while the copy will copy it, and the paste will let you insert anything that is cut or copied into a point in your track. Selecting certain audio is also useful when paired with the trim tool, which removes any audio outside of your selection. For example, if I just want to isolate this audio, I would select Trim Audio, and all other audio outside of my selection is removed. I'll press the undo button. The last tool that's worth mentioning over here is the Silence Audio button. This can be used if you have a portion of audio in your track that you want to remove without removing the time that it takes up. For example, if I just want to silence this specific section of my audio, I use the Select tool to highlight it as shown here, then click Silence Audio, and it silences that part of the track. These two tools, the Silence Audio and the Trim tool, are really useful to help you isolate only the recorded audio that you want, which can help remove a lot of pressure when recording. If you'd like to get more specific when selecting audio, you can use the Zoom In tool to zoom into the track. This will expand the waveform in the track and show more detail per second of sound. You can see that now we have an expanded version just by clicking the button a couple of times. This can help you make smaller, more specific selections. For example, if you need to eliminate just a small sound in your track or something interrupting your audio in the background. When you're finished, you can use the Zoom Out tool to collapse your waveform and see more of your project as a whole. The last thing we'll cover is saving a project and finishing a created project. When you need to save a project in a format that you can go back and edit later, you'll go to File, and select Save Project. You'll get a warning that says Save Project is for an Audacity project, not an audio file, meaning that anytime you open this file, it will open up in an editable form in Audacity. If you select OK, you'll be able to save that file in any location that you like. However, when you finish a project, you will need to create a final version of that file that can be played in other locations, such as music devices or iTunes. To create this type of file, you need to export. To do so, we'll select File and Export Audio. You'll see a similar window for our save, only this time we'll also be able to select the type of file that we're creating. For the sake of compatibility, it's recommended that you choose either a WAV file or an MP3 file. We'll do a WAV file here. We might get a warning if our audio project has multiple tracks. And we'll also have some extra information. If you're making a file that's intended to be viewed in iTunes, this will give you the ability to add metadata, such as the artist of the track, the title, when it was created, and any comments that you feel need to be added onto the project. These aren't necessary to create the file, but can be useful for organizational purposes. One thing I want to note is that the exporting process will not replace your Audacity project. All it will do is create an uneditable copy saved on your computer that will open in other programs and be able to be played as an audio file. To wrap up, I want to note that these are just the basic tools of Audacity. While there are other tools in this recording platform available to add more variety to your work, mastering the basics is important to creating audio files that both you and your students can use effectively in the classroom. And thank you for watching this video to help you get started with that. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at jana.docherty@cnu.edu. Bye!